Welcome to the Conscious Radio Network's YouTube channel. Become enlightened, have fun, and tell all your friends and family to share with everyone they know. You can find us on Facebook and stay up to date on our Facebook group, or find us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Our podcasts can be found on Libsyn, iHeart, Spotify, Google Podcast, and more. Most of all, remember to go to our official website at consciousradionetwork.com for podcasts, hosts, future shows, and scheduling. We also want to welcome our international audience. Don't stop now. Enjoy the community. Subscribe today.
This is the Conscious Radio Network.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you might be on this spaceship we call Earth. Welcome to Conscious Radio Network's weekly podcast series, The Seance. I'm your host, Reverend Dr. Paul Meckes. If this is your first time tuning in, please click subscribe, like, share, comment, and also don't forget to listen wherever you listen to your podcasts. Using the elements, born with amazing gifts, which encompasses many different modalities, powerful third generational healer, ancestral reader, land clearing, experienced psychic, and wealth of knowledge in the field. Over 10 years conducting psychic readings and providing guidance to those in need, and possesses a deep understanding of the spiritual world. She provides psychic guidance, interpreting energies, and helping clients to gain a better understanding of their situations, dedicated to helping people find clarity and peace in their lives. All the way from Hawaii, let's welcome to the seance today, Wendy Williams. Welcome, my friend. It's been a while since we last.
Yeah, aloha.
Aloha. How is it over there right now? Has everything cleared?
Yeah, it's beautiful. I'm on Kauai right now, and it's really pretty. Morning time, and it's a gorgeous day so far. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Cool. So let's go back. Third generational and
Right.
born with these gifts. What was it like? I mean, what was the first experience, conscious experience growing up and realizing, oh, I've got some different abilities here compared to all the other friends and children around me?
Yeah, it was always a little scary, a lot scary actually, growing up with that, and knowing that you're not like everyone else. And when you say it out loud, people look at you like you're crazy, and then you start learning, well, maybe I should hide this.
Yeah.
And as a kid, you have this unfiltered approach to things. And my grandmother I would go and tell her, okay, I saw this and I heard that. And so for many, many years, that was the only person that I told. And that leads into a whole generational thing of being from a family that also was, should we, let's hide this. And that was something that I am determined not to do any longer, is just keep everything a secret.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, I could see how that could be challenging growing up, because you've got the world of the adults,
Mm-hmm.
telling children, oh, you can't do that. That's not real. That's the boogeyman, blah, blah, blah. It's hocus pocus. That's not real. And programming us into, this other reality. But at the other hand, on the backside, you are experiencing all this.
Yes.
And trying to hide it. But at the same time, a part of you, your spirit, your inner self is telling you, no. At what point did you say,
Mm-hmm.
no, I'm not going to hide this?
Well, it was more of an event. So the first time I really had, I think it was 11, and someone came to me that had been in a car accident, and I was just laying on a hammock, and he walked up and asked me for directions, and I went, oh, it's this way, and I gave him directions, but he had actually just passed over. He had just been in a car wreck, and I thought he was really there. So I had been having all these things happen since I was, 2 or 3 years old. Anyway, I said, well, I think I give him the right directions, and I'm saying to myself, but that you could feel it. I always feel things first. Your soul tends to know, or your body tends to tell you before your mind tells you. That's been my experience.
Mm.
And I'm better at it now, knowing, oh, there's something about to happen, or they're about to say something that's important, because my body will tell me. And that's what happened that day too. And anyway, I went inside to tell the, family, and they said, anyway, everyone just looked at me and said, oh, that's so and so's brother. He just died in a car wreck. And that kind of propelled me to really believe more. Okay, it's real. Like, this isn't just in my head. But that wasn't like the springboard that led me to everything. That was just, I guess, a internal springboard of more confidence. I'm confident in this. And then I kind of shoved it away again for a while. Did the whole going to college. I got married. I had a family. And I just wanted to, I guess, in my mind, be, quote, normal. And then some traumatic events happen, which tends to open up your gifts more, or opens up your gifts to begin with. And at that point, it was 2016 at that point, and I was able to see more, hear more, everything, just because of the traumatic event. It was almost like a light switch went on, and it was like, bloop, everything came at once. Almost like I got all these superpowers, and what am I going to do with it? Are you going to make something out of this that's beautiful? Are you going to hide it again? Because here we are again, showing you even again years later. And that's the point where I said, you know what? I had been dreaming of Hawaii for years and years, like visions of it. And I just sold everything I owned. I moved to Hawaii, and then it's almost like I learned pieces of everything I needed to apply it to the people that started coming to see me.
Yeah.
And that included certain events, locations. And as I became more aware of, why am I getting this? Why is this person coming to me? Okay, I can apply what this is telling me to this situation. So it's almost like you go and you gather information from locations in the Anya, which is land, and powerful mana, things like that teach you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of the elements, very important. Now being in Hawaii, and what have you, trying to think of how to ask a question, hence the title. What is it about the elements that you feel are important, and things that we should notice that are giving us these signals?
That's such a great question, because oh man, it's like a whole different ballgame. Energetically wise, for me, so let me back up and try to answer it I'll first answer it, and then I'll give some examples to my answer.
All right.
But we call it the mainland, like on the mainland, I was getting elemental information, like, the wind, the water, things that we touch every day that would help, like, enhance any kind of situation that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't understand that would help me or not help me. So, for example, backing up to the mainland, when I had something happen to me, like a dark energy or something that wasn't of the light come at me, I didn't have enough of the elemental information to help keep that from me. And it turned out, and it affected me badly.
Yeah.
Fast forward to now, if I'm in a situation or doing a land clearing where there's a lot of energy on someone's land, which does happen a lot with my job, then I can, well, first you bring stuff in ahead of time. So you have to be more proactive of knowing you're going into a situation. And that a lot of what I learned is a lot of people aren't aware of the land. So the land holds a lot of information that you can use, and a lot of things that will show you, what to do, if that makes sense. So learning to bring offerings and bring things in that are going to help with the elements is really important. And also the elements can help clear energy that's on you, whether it's you're jumping in the ocean to clear. I had this yesterday to clear someone that I did Reiki on. She was really blocked and she had been through trauma recently. And so going and doing her clearing, it was just, I had to get into the water to help me clear that and put my feet in the land too. So the elements are really important. I think a lot of people forget that, or I didn't have that knowledge. And the more that you raise up your consciousness and you elevate, you need to add that in. Otherwise, your energy levels can't keep up with where you're going. Your body will reject it or show it in other ways.
Yeah. Yeah. In a sense, too, it's like it's a shamanic practice. You're actually a shaman.
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of that. I just kind of evolved to that. I'm very connected to the land.
Yeah.
And it's really normal here. A lot of it's almost like, oh, you can talk about it and it's really normal. And people live that way. It's like a life. They're very spiritual and very connected to the water and to the wind and to it's just a whole different way to look at things.
And I look at it too as all the islands, any island in general, but especially Hawaii and Maui and all the other islands there. I mean, for the longest time, I've always been told through metaphysics that mountains in general hold power. They're like the steeples. They're the points that head to the heavens.
Yes.
And channel in the cosmic energies. Well, Hawaii, I mean, any island, especially Hawaii and all the others.
Oh, it's very
You're
strong.
Out in the middle of the ocean, and it's literally
extremely strong. Yes.
Yeah, at the very tip of each mountain.
Yeah, so I was doing a clearing and he had like a vortex at the point of his property where a lot of energy was coming in, and it was the point where there's a cliff and there's water, and then you've got the land, you've got all the elements coming in. And I broke out in a rash from it because the energy was just so intense. And if I hadn't been doing this for a long time, I would have not known how to handle it and what to do and how to clear myself and how to, take the steps to get grounded again, things like that. So the elements are very useful and important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the experiences that you've had in Hawaii so far, what has been the most profound? If you haven't touched on it yet, what's been the most profound? And
I get asked that a lot. It's always, to me, I always go, it's funny because you think, oh, this is a big job I'm going to clear. Like someone is living on a compound where they've got, their own well system, everything. They've got everything in the compound. And you think, oh, this is going to be the biggest job I've ever had. And you go into it and you're doing their home. They're all their, everything, including the land. And it is, but then you go and you do like a little job that you think is going to be super easy, and it's just insane, powerful mana and other, because some of it's ancestral, most of it's ancestral, and you have to respect is such a big thing. But that big island is where, I go to all the islands to work, and Big Island is where, again, I go back to what I said before. I got the tools there to help me with the other islands, things that were going to happen to me. I encountered some things there. Each island, I feel, and the other people do too, I think, has a specific purpose. Like it represents it, like Kauai will help manifest and help your heart. And each island is like something different for a different chakra or a different situation.
I was about to say,
Well,
yeah.
chakra, yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel that too, because each island I go to, I'm like, wow, I thought I couldn't get any more lessons, but here they come. Like you have to duck and be ready. And so Big Island, with the powerful energy there and the volcanoes and everything in the land, it's where I have had a lot of and I'm not a, I don't want to go into anything with fear now because that just attracts more fear and it attracts more energy that you don't want and entities that you don't want because they're there. Even, if other people can't see them, they're absolutely there.
Mm-hmm.
And on Big Island, a lot of them don't want to leave. And so you feel it more and it's more powerful. It's almost like it stays with you a lot longer than other places.
Yeah.
It's the youngest island. So, you can feel the difference. I could talk about this for hours.
Yeah.
Because it's just
exactly.
The experiences have been so, intense and physical.
Yeah.
Physical too. They show up on me physically.
Wow.
Yeah.
What are the physical attributes that you encounter?
So when I get a lot of energy that my body can't get at once, if I'm doing like a big land clearing, it'll show up like usually as a rash.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like some people call it chi energy. Chi, like a chi. I forget that some of the locals say it that way. And physically, it's almost like, okay, wait, something is, you have to step back and say, wait, this is taking me in a direction that I know is not gonna serve like what I'm doing. So if you've done a lot of work and you've been doing this long enough and you're paying attention, you'll get the signals that you need to step back or you need to go a different direction with it. And for me, it's physical, like a rash or a headache or just different signs that I feel.
Yeah.
Also, information I get.
I can definitely.
It's energy, it's vibrational, it's consciousness, it's all kinds of things, but it's too doing it for a while, not, going through the experiences. Being new at first, I went through a lot of crap before, a lot of crap and more people saying, oh, you're not legit. And then after I did enough jobs and people earn their trust and their respect, then they started to be like, oh, wait a minute. And then I just got more referrals and it kind of, but I had to earn it, and I think that's important. Going back to Big Island is earning the respect of also the ancestors and what is unseen and what was there before us. It's really important. The land is really important. I can't say that enough. Yeah.
Any land in general, whether no matter where it is, it holds the energy. It's another part of the life force energy.
Yes.
That we have to respect.
Right.
But it's also very important, I feel, I'm sure you can agree, is and that segues into the next question is how important is it for people to, like if they're going to buy a house, buy a farm, buy an apartment, buy any piece of land, residential or lease, it doesn't have to be buy. How important is it for somebody to do the research on the property and learn about the property before maybe even becoming a tenant for it?
It's really important. It's, and just say it's a layman person that doesn't have this knowledge or has a healer that's working with them. A lot of times, most people can feel it. They're like, something feels off. We shouldn't buy this. But be more curious, ask more questions. Well, why do I feel this? Maybe you're there to help move that energy out of that property or out of that situation.
Yeah.
Instead of just running and going, well, screw this, I'm not going to buy it because it feels, or you have a nightmare. I hear all kinds of stuff. Sometimes you actually need to shift the energy out and clear it, or clearing is important. And that can be done with your intentions and manifesting like a lot. There's a lot to it.
Yeah.
But to answer, that question directly, it's not a straight line. It's, and I do that a lot. A lot of people call me in, they're thinking of buying property, and I walk the perimeters, and I tell them, well, this is what's here, or this is what I feel. And they're like, oh yeah, we felt that too. Well, and then we work together and we talk about it. And then a lot of times it's just bringing up fears from something that they hadn't worked on 5 years ago, or like sometimes it's just something they need to heal.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a lot. There's a lot of different facets to it, but in the end, you can change a lot with your intentions too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And going into it with an open heart, and, if you're going to go, this being all negative about it, you're going to draw negativity with energies too, and spirits.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's, but you can turn things around.
Yeah.
But I do a lot of that, what you asked me.
Yeah. There was a little time there a couple years ago during the lockdowns and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
that the real estate market got kind of weird. People started buying houses online and not even setting foot on properties.
Right.
And even testing it, even seeing it, even feeling it. They just like, oh, that's nice. Click, buy. And like, what?
Right.
I mean, do you think that serves? I mean, I don't think it serves any benefit, but.
I mean, we have a lot of mainland people that have moved here since COVID, especially. And when I go in and we have a consultation, they'll say, I'm seeing stuff in my kitchen, or this is I'm just using like people that call me and they're in turmoil.
Yeah.
And usually that's when I get the call, when they're like, I've tried everything and this isn't working. What you do, whatever you do. And, the way they word it, I'm like, oh my gosh. So when I go in, it's usually a lot of times they think it's the land, they think it's this and that. It's actually usually them.
Yeah.
It's all this, like, I call it low energy thinking, and sometimes what I found is they moved here and it shifted them so much that they're trying to catch up with it. And so they're resisting it.
Yeah.
And it's resisting what's also going into their home. And once they go, okay, and they lean into that and they don't resist it as much, it also alleviates some of the stuff in their home.
Yeah. It seems like the homeowner and the house is a exclusively mutual partnership at some point, energetically. If that sounds right, that's how I'm seeing it as a.
It's a lot of things, I mean, sometimes, I go in and it's sometimes people are just watching and hearing things, and sometimes it's really just simple. It's a lot of times it's the vision that they had in what reality actually isn't lining up. And when I get there, they're like, well, I saged it. And, and I'm thinking, but did you sage it with the right intention? And did you like meditate? Or did you just like do smoke with sage and YouTube it? Like, what did you do?
Yeah.
And let's talk about that. And it's just, they're like, oh, and that leads to more conversations and more of them understanding the impact of what they just purchased.
True.
I mean, I'm doing this so much that I bought a domain called Soul Realtor because that is what you're asking has become so common.
Yeah.
And and a lot of times people just want to hear too, oh, okay, so it's not like haunted. And I don't mean to laugh, but it's not it's just not that simple.
Mm-hmm.
They may have spirits roaming around, yeah, but I have to, talk to them more about it and bring awareness to what that means and looks like, because every situation's different. you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes they went into a home that in the disclosure, it wasn't revealed to them there was a death in the house. And once they find out, they just start putting all that energy into it. Of, oh my gosh, so he's here and he's walking around at night and slamming the kitchen doors, and
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I could tell a lot of stories because there's just a lot of, I've had so much, especially in the last 6 years. I have
Wow.
so many stories.
I bet. Those are for
I
other
do.
shows.
Yeah, let's do
Yeah. We could do
101
like a
shows.
Halloween thing next year. This year's
Right.
already booked, this one's booked up and stuff like that. But every year I'm planning on doing a
That's because you're so
Halloween thing.
popular.
Stuff like right? The
You
first
are.
year, let's see how it goes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Now, it's for those who want to reach out to you, they can go to your website, awavewithin.com.
Yes.
And what can one expect and be able to reach out to you for through your website?
Well, if they reach out on the website, I will get to them as quick as I can. I also do shows and events, so sometimes I'm at a live event or I'm on one of the islands. It takes me a few days, but I'll respond back and then we'll talk about what you need and I'll have you fill out a form and we'll just go from there. I'm pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just take it kind of, I evaluate what that person needs, and I do a lot of remote work via Zoom on the mainland and international as well.
Mhm.
So I do, I'm in all the time zones doing that as much as I can if I'm not doing land clearings.
Yeah.
Just email me or and my phone number's on there. You can text and I have a team also that will help with that.
Cool. What has been the biggest challenge so far in the work that you've been doing?
I think I I've kind of been going to all the islands, so keeping up with trying to do it all is hard because I want to help as many people as I can. That's why
Yeah.
I'm here. I feel and my heart's really in it. And so I want to get to everyone. And that's a challenge along with, you know, I think the biggest challenge too has been learning all the different cultures and learning how how to, inter interact with everyone and what country they're from
Yeah.
and meeting them on their level so I can understand them better.
I find
And,
that as a challenge as well. Some of the work that
mhm,
I've done in the past and even today,
mhm,
especially a lot of the spiritual work, is trying
yes,
to accommodate
mhm,
all religions, all society,
right,
all cultures, because if you don't truly know the little nuances of each culture,
mhm.
you don't know if you're going to offend them or if it's taboo
Yeah.
or it's like you're
I
stuck.
always try to just be super respectful.
Yeah,
That's just the one thing I've learned living here. Respect is so important. Respecting the land and the water and the ocean, and when you're hiking, blessing the land, things like that. Giving it back, because the thing here in Hawaii is the island will spit you out. It's a saying here that if you don't belong, you'll be shown really quick and you won't make it. And I see it all the time. You'll make a friend and then like that, they're gone.
hmm,
And you'll hear this crazy story and you're like, what? And okay, that really happened to you? Yeah, I'm
yeah.
selling everything. I'm leaving. I'm going to the mainland. Poof, and they're gone.
Wow.
And and then you hear all these beautiful stories. They're like, I came here and I couldn't leave, and I felt like I needed this lesson and that healing. Da 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 da. And so that's been hard too. Just like you meet all these beautiful people and make friends, and they can't make it or they leave so fast.
Huh.
And yeah, but the culture, learning all the cultures and just really listening to my clients and what it is they really need. not what I need, not what I think and what my expectations might be, but what is it that they need, and take your ego out of it. I've had to
Yeah.
really learn, it's not ego driven. This is what I'm doing for my profession. So
Yeah. Ego.
step back.
I've been recently listening to a lot of stuff about ego and change, digging deep within your own programming and kind of erasing all that programming and getting it kind of like a Course in Miracles, and kind of just
Yeah,
getting it all out and focusing
right.
on the divine self.
Yeah, I mean, when I first came here, I had to go through so much, like, I call it like shadow work, and just pulling everything out and really looking at it so I could just continue to get, healthier and healthier, like energetically, spiritually, and in a lot of ways as a mom, a friend,
Yeah.
everything. And so I think I also have a lot of people that want coaching on that too. And they're like, how do I, shift out of that mindset, and how do I raise up and get out of those old patterns and the old
Mhm. Yeah.
thinking? And we could talk about that in a podcast too.
Yeah, absolutely. And that
Oh my
segues into
gosh.
teaching and counseling.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
Even though people will reach out to you and say, "Yeah, I need a land clearing, or I need this, or I need that," and stuff like that,
Uh-huh.
I would assume you also help them and teach them and guide them
Mm-hmm.
into maintaining that as they move forward.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes. So I started doing that. It started kind of way back when I would do a Reiki session, and I would be doing Reiki on them, and I'd get all this information. Like, all my other gifts would come in. Oh, they need this, and oh, they just had a car wreck, and oh, they've got this is blocked. Da 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 da. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, okay. So how do I just in 1 hour tell them? So that would turn into I would just I just told them. I was like, well, forget it. I'm just going to say not going to do a add on all these expenses. I just want to help them. So here's what I got, and they're like, oh yeah, oh okay, like almost like a light bulb went off, and they're like, I see this all the time. People are like, oh, she's legit, like
Yeah.
oh, So that would lead to, well, I can't tell you that in 1 hour, but what can I do? And then they would say, well, and so that's how it led into, let's do some other things one on one, and I'll teach you what I know and try to help you with what I learned. So if I wouldn't have backing up, if I wouldn't have gone through all that
Yeah.
myself, there's no way I could like see it in other people
Yeah.
and help them. There's no way. I wouldn't have been authentic. I would have been full of crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's kind of like somebody who lost their legs in an accident or can't walk
mhm.
anymore. And then, you try to consult them and go, it's like, and making that claim to them, like, I know how you feel. How could you? How could you
Yeah,
if
you
you've never
can't.
lost your legs? You
And
know?
it may not be the same situation. I had a
Yeah.
guy yesterday, and his situation was intense, and it
Mhm.
had not happened to me, that situation.
Yeah.
But I'm like, hey, this exact thing did not happen to me, but I had something similar that I can share with you. And it didn't, and I don't have like a magic potion. I'm not going to
Yeah.
pretend that I do. But this is what worked, and spiritually, energetically, I did this, or what, how I got to the, because a lot of people ask me, well, how'd you get to this point? What'd you do? But it was not overnight. You can't do it fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I couldn't. Let me say that different. I tried, and I kept getting more lessons. Wait, let's go back. You didn't get that,
Yeah.
So we're going to show you again, because fast forward 5 years, you're going to need it for this person that's in front of you.
Hmm.
You're going to need to regurgitate what happened to you so you can really help them. And that's kind of a long answer to your question, I think.
Yeah. What may a lot of guests, not guests, but a lot of our audience out there, a lot of questions that that comes back to me as far as a question is what
Mhm.
makes you particularly different than all the other practitioners out there that they are able to find?
I feel like, for me, my stuff is, I honestly, at this point, I feel like who needs to find me does. And I feel like that's different. In the
Mhm.
past, it was the opposite. I was finding people. And now I'm just kind of like, please let who needs me find me, and the others, to find someone else that may work better for them. And that seems to have made a difference in my client base. And I'm different too because, well, first, I've been through it and I've actually lived it from my whole entire life.
Yeah.
And I fought really hard to get where I am at. And at the end of the day, like nothing just for me has come easy. So I try really hard to give everyone that space of, even if it's a basic client that is, what is a rose quartz? Like, explain to me how this would help my heart, something
Yeah.
like that. So it's nobody, I, I meet everyone where they're at, whatever that is. And that I think makes me different. And also, I'm a picky who I work with as well. So I'm not just, oh, I'll take any. I really like do my due diligence because I want to make sure that, it's a fit for both of us.
Yeah, kind of vetting the clients. I mean,
Hmm.
clients will vet
And
practitioners.
that took
So
years
why
too.
can't yeah, and why can't practitioners vet the clients?
Right. So I do that now. And that's helped too. It's
Mhm.
changed because it changed, who's finding me, who I'm taking on, who I'm saying no to, those things.
Yeah, and that's a very tricky thing, especially through the years of paranormal investigation work that I've done.
Hmm.
Is we have
Hmm.
so many forms to go through on
Hmm.
looking at the credibility of the client. It's like,
Hmm.
are they just looking for attention and they're throwing
Right.
the story out, or is this authentic? You just can't
Yeah,
ask those
because
questions.
I am busy and I don't, I want to honor like the people that really want, they really want it.
Yeah.
I want those people, not, well, I'm gonna, I just, there's a difference, and
Mhm.
everyone's in a different situation, and I may not be the healer for them, but the ones that I am a healer for, they seem to find me. So it's just been really good. But I work so hard too that I, I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm kind of there where I can do that now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a cool place to be. Yeah, and then we had the earthquakes or the volcanoes start going off on Big Island. Not,
Ah, yeah.
I know this is by the time people watch this, but right now
Mhm.
it's starting to go off a little bit, or it has been for the
Wow.
last week too. So, and that's fogs in the air, so you can feel that. And, it's just a lot of elements, a lot of
Yep.
elements.
Yeah.
But you can
Yeah.
always feel everything before it happens if if you are aware.
Yeah, if you're attuned to it.
I can feel it when I'm walking the beach. I'm like, oh, something's coming,
Mm.
you know, and you can feel it in the water when you're in the water, you're surfing or paddling out, or you can feel it.
Wow.
Either way, it's always there if you are paying attention and then you really in that space. And that's for everybody watching too. Like your body will tell you. It
Mhm.
will. And sometimes in other ways you can see it. Things start happening in your house, if you're paying attention. That's a whole nother podcast. We
Yep.
talked about that when I met you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, we got a lot of subjects to hone in on, and
Hmm.
but yeah, definitely more than welcome to book some more shows and stuff like that. And but Before we end the show, definitely want to. What is a takeaway that you would like to give our audience today?
Hmm. Just try to really tune into your heart space and try to get really calm, because when you're all up in your head and there's all this noise, internal noise, you can't get the information, that it doesn't come through.
Yeah.
And that for some people of my clients, actually, that sometimes just starts with us just learning how to meditate.
Mm.
So some of them, just even 3 minutes a day, is a start. And be curious. If you're getting stuff and feeling stuff, ask questions. Ask yourself questions. What does that mean? Why am I? A lot of my clients will say, I dreamed I needed a red jasper. What's that mean? Well, if you dream that specific thing, look it up. What's it telling you? Go buy one. Like, are you grounded? Like, ask questions, like, and that'll open another door and another door, and it'll keep going. And then before you know it, you're manifesting something else. And when stuff comes through at once really fast, look at that. Hey, what was I doing right before all this happened?
Yeah.
Because those are usually keys to opening doors that are really beneficial for you.
Especially the signs that we always get, and this has been a big talk a lot lately, and for a
Yeah,
while, is like the
right.
11:11 on the clocks and the time
Yeah,
synchronicities.
synchronicities.
Yeah.
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 And I have my clients write them down, their dreams and stuff, and we start looking at it. And then they start seeing the patterns, and they're like, oh, and it gets them excited, and they want to do more and learn more. And that's where you start growing,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Even though we'll have all your information in the show notes
Mhm.
and on the scroll below
Mhm.
during this, share your contact information with our guests, or with our audience.
Sure. So it's awavewithin.com. And my name's Wendy, and you can shoot me an email, and it's awavewithin@gmail.com. And then the Insta is the same.
Hmm.
And we'll be happy to get back with you ASAP.
Cool. Now, you have any upcoming projects by the time this broadcast?
Yeah, so I'm doing shows this weekend, but at this time we're filming. It's September. So
Yeah.
I'll be in Kauai all weekend, and I'll be in Maui, and I'll be on Big Island in October doing shows and events.
Anything for the
Um,
coming year, 2024? Big projects, books, classes?
yeah. So I've been asked to write a book, so we are just in the beginning stages of that.
Aha.
It's all really beginning stages. So I'm working on it. I just don't know when
Yeah.
it'll be out, released, all of that. So that's all in the works as well. But
Cool.
that's all very new. So yeah. So
Awesome.
everybody just stay safe, and thank you for having me.
Definitely. Wendy, namaste. What's a Hawaiian word for that?
Mahalo.
Mahalo. Mahalo, my
Mahalo.
friend.
Yes. It was all
Welcome.
Pono.
Yep. And welcome back anytime.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, keep us posted on your travels, safe travels, and
Well, I
safe
will.
work out there. And
Thank
blessings to
you.
you.
Thanks so
And
much, Paul.
you are very, very, very welcome. Thank
All
you,
right.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Conscious
Yeah,
Radio
thanks
Network.
everybody, whoever's out there.
Yep. The Seance. Thank you, everybody. You all have a good night or good morning, evening, or night, wherever.
Yeah.
Until then, thank you all for watching, and we will see you next week.